It's happening. It's really happening. The thing most Jamaicans have dreaded ever since Trump announced his run for a second term is now a reality. Illegal Jamaicans are being deported. And guess what? Trump has wasted no time. He started. So what are Jamaicans saying about this? And of course, I'll be sharing my thoughts too. But that's not all. Coming up on the show, a Detroit rapper has filed a defamation lawsuit against a Lyft driver who refused to take her because of her weight. Now, was he wrong for declining her ride? Or was he just trying to protect his car? Well, let's unpack that. And finally, 2 Haitian women have sought asylum in Jamaica after fleeing their war-torn country. What does this mean for them, for us, and for the ongoing crisis in Haiti? We've got so much to dive into today, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Real Talk. So naturally, most Jamaicans have been riding the worry train for the past couple of months, especially since the U.S. presidential election on November 5th. And let's be real, a lot of illegal immigrants have been on edge, especially Jamaican immigrants, nervous about what Trump's win means for them. And, some of them are basically even outraged, like, this person right here in one of my previous episodes. You can click the link above here, right? So in that episode, I made something very clear, when we make decisions, they come with consequences. And when those consequences hit, we suddenly feel entitled, like we shouldn't have to deal with them. But reality doesn't really work that way. So one of Trump's first moves was declaring a national emergency at the southern border. He has wasted no time. He sent active duty troops to help repel what he calls basically an invasion, and gave ICE the green light to remove illegal immigrants, starting with the criminals who have basically, wreaked havoc on the country. And guess what? Trump has kept his word. It's happening right now in front of our eyes. The raids are in full effect, and so far over 538 illegal immigrant criminals have been arrested, and among them 2 Jamaicans. Now, let's take a look at the videos.
Morning, everyone.
It's a frigid 5 degrees in the pre-dawn hours just outside of Boston, where this team of elite ICE officers is briefing on their targets for the day.
We're going to be targeting some extremely violent offenders today.
Within moments, the officers are on the move, with eyes on their first target.
Looks like we got movement, target vehicle coming out.
They quickly take him into custody. He's an MS-13 gang member wanted in El Salvador for aggravated murder. And he has an Interpol red notice out for his arrest.
We are targeting very violent threats to our community.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
ICE Boston quickly takes down its next targets, including this illegal alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released by a sanctuary jurisdiction. And this Dominican illegal alien charged with assault with a deadly weapon and heroin trafficking. Officers also arrested this Guatemalan MS-13 gang member facing gun charges. ICE says he was released from local custody just the day before. Their detainer request was ignored because of sanctuary policies. And in a sign of shifting priorities with the new Trump administration, this man, who was in the same apartment as the target, was also arrested after ICE determined he's also in the U.S. illegally.
target was released by a sanctuary jurisdiction, not honoring a detainer. That person was released back into the community, and when we went to go find him, he's with somebody else who was previously removed from the United States. So he's going to go today too.
And that is exactly what Border Czar Tom Homan has warned would happen.
When we find the bad guy, he's probably with others that are in the United States illegally. They may not be a criminal priority, but we're not walking away from them.
ICE Boston says they will continue to go into sanctuary jurisdictions and do their job.
Today.
Now, this article reads from the Gleaner, posted on January 17, 2025. Hartford, January 17, CMC, the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, agency says it has arrested 2 Jamaican nationals convicted of criminal offenses in the U.S., including one wanted in Jamaica. ICE said they have arrested Sanjay Sivan Walsh, 28, convicted of sexually assaulting 2 children and tampering with evidence on December 17. Now, Mr. Walsh was convicted of committing unspeakable crimes against 2 children, and he was sentenced to prison for it, said ICE Enforcement and Removal Operations, ERO. Boston Acting Field Office Director Patricia Hyde. Our officers had to arrest Mr. Walsh in the community after his release from prison, even though he was convicted of terrible crimes against children and is removable from the U.S. based on his convictions, Hyde added. Now, I said that the state of Connecticut Superior Court convicted Walsh of 2 counts of second degree sexual assault and conspiracy to tamper with evidence on June 14, 2023, sentencing him to 10 years in prison, suspending all but the 1 year and 9 months he had already served. The court also required Walsh to register as a sex offender for 10 years following his release, I said. It said also that ERO Boston officers in Hartford arrested 30-year-old Jamaican Leroy Neville White on December 26. I said White, also known as Kevin White, is the subject of an Interpol red notice for shooting with intent, and that he had been convicted in the United States of first-degree threatening with intent to terrorize and carrying a pistol without a permit. ERO Boston lodged an immigration detainer against Mr. White when police initially arrested him on felony charges. He's also wanted in Jamaica for shooting with intent, a very serious crime. On December 26, our officers arrested him in the correctional facility's safe, controlled environment, Hyde said, adding, "We're also always grateful when local police and courts honor our immigration detainers. They help keep our officers, the public, and non-citizens safe." I said Interpol issues red notices to alert police in member countries about internationally wanted fugitives, and that White had unlawfully entered the U.S. on July 11, 2022. A U.S. Department of Justice immigration judge with the Executive Office for Immigration Review had ordered White removed to Jamaica on April 12, 2023, after Jamaican authorities had issued an arrest warrant for him on August 11, 2023, alleging he committed the offense of shooting with intent. I said White will remain in its custody pending his removal from the United States. Do you guys understand what this is saying? Are you really reading between the lines here? Two men, one who has committed unspeakable crimes against children, and another flagged by Interpol. And if you know anything about Interpol, you know that when they put a mark on you, it is no joke, like no joke at all. Now, these men walked right through the border under the Biden and Kamala administration. Probably even rubbed shoulders with some of you who crossed the U.S. border in 2022 and you had no idea. No idea at all. And now we want to chastise Trump for what he's doing, and we feel like we're in the right for it. Nope. Let him send them back. Let him send them back. Jamaica needs to fix its system and deal with its own problems. Because let's flip the script for a second. What if 2 Americans were in Jamaica committing unspeakable crimes against children and all of these things? We already know how that would go. Jamaicans would be up in arms calling for them to be deported back to the US to face their justice. So why are we expecting America to keep them? Why are we calling for Americans to keep them over there? Yes, we all know Jamaica struggles with resources, but let's be real. We do have resources. The problem is they're just sitting in our politicians' pockets and we're doing absolutely nothing about it. Think about it. We have a total of 84 members in parliament. 21 of them are senators and 63 are House representatives. 84 people. Basically controlling the fate of 2.8 million Jamaicans. They represent us. But when are we going to start holding them accountable? Like, honestly, when? And this is why I have to say I respect Trump so much. Love him or hate him, the man says what he's gonna do and then he does it. It's simple as that. It is simple as that. Like, I want somebody right now to name, like in the comments, name one Jamaican politician who can confidently say, I fulfilled every promise I made to the Jamaican people at the end of my term. Name one. Not one. Not one. Meanwhile, Trump laid out his plan to the Americans. They voted him in. And now he's executing the plan as is. And like it or not, that is leadership. Leadership. But here we are, acting spoiled, throwing tantrums because we're not getting our way. Some of us are spending $500,000 Jamaican dollars trying to sneak into another country instead of taking that same money, going through the legal process and securing a real future with peace of mind. Instead, we go under the radar, only to find out, that the very same criminals we're running from in Jamaica are making through the same, basically walking through the same border right beside of us. And you know what's funny? If the Jamaican government suddenly decided to open its doors to Haiti and, let people slip into our country and seek asylum, half of us would be screaming, nope, send them back. Some of us might say, okay, no, take the mothers and the children without even knowing who these people are or what they're involved in before they even got here. We need to put some thought process into this. This is exactly how the good suffer for the bad, because people refuse to take the right channels to enter another country legally. And if you did not know, by the way, entering a country illegally is a crime. So when everybody was screaming at Trump when he sent this plane over, I can't remember the name of the country. I'm not sure if it was Venezuela. I think it was Colombia. He sent the plane and everybody was in shackles, chains and everything. And everybody's like, oh, that's inhumane. You committed a crime. Most of these people actually who are on the plane committed vicious crimes. Differently from that, they committed a crime because they entered the country illegally. Why shouldn't you be locked up? The mere fact that the plane landed on your grounds, they're in Colombia, you could have said to the ICE operatives and say, hey, let's take those shackles off our people. Let's let them go and let them roam into the city and start doing whatever the hell they like. But at the end of the day, we need to start separating our feelings from logic. All right, so let's get into some highlight topics. Now, while the US is, cracking down on immigration, guess what? Jamaica is now facing its own immigration dilemma. Now, 2 Haitian women, along with a Jamaican, were arrested in St. Thomas, and now they're seeking asylum right here in Jamaica. Now, let that sink in there for a second for y'all people right now, because Haiti, a country basically drowning in chaos, gang violence and political instability. People are basically fleeing for their lives. They're just fleeing. And now some of them are basically seeing Jamaica as a safe haven. But here's the real question. Can Jamaicans actually handle that? Jamaica country already battling crime, our own economic struggles, and basically a government that can barely manage its own people is now being asked to take in asylum seekers. What does that mean for us? Are we really in a position to open our doors? And let's not forget the Jamaican who was arrested with them. What's really their role in all of this? Smuggling, helping, or just caught up in something bigger, right? So I feel this situation is a bit messy, and it raises serious questions about Jamaicans' immigration policy. Like, do we actually take them in? Or do we turn them away? And most importantly is, are we ready for what could come next? Now, according to the Gleaner, Attorney O'Dane Marston made the disclosure in the St. Thomas Parish Court on Thursday before the two Haitians and a Jamaican were granted bail on several crime charges. Now, the Haitians, Ivelsi, I hope I'm calling the name correct, Conte and Claudia Thomas, were each offered $300,000 bail and ordered to report to the police every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. They're facing charges of illegal entry and overstaying their time in Jamaica. Now, Edison Thompson, the Jamaican man charged with harboring an illegal alien, was also offered the same bail condition. He also urged the judge not to view them as flight risk because of the asylum application. All 3 are scheduled to return to court on April 17. So, some of us, in my opinion, are caught up in this feeling, quote unquote, feeling sorry for, that we're not really looking at the bigger picture. The real repercussions of these decisions are very serious. Now, based on the reports, it's pretty safe to assume that these Asians came through illegal channels and basically also overstayed their welcome, and they got caught and they're seeking asylum. Now, listen, I empathize with what's going on, in Haiti. Right now, I understand it's pure chaos over there, and I get it. But let's be real. Jamaica is in no position to play savior when our own people are struggling. We cannot be out here stretching out our hands to help others while we're drowning in the same problems. It might not be explosive of what's happening with whatever, but basically that's what's happening. Are we going to wait until it gets to that point? It might sound harsh, but it's the truth. And here's where it gets even more serious. Jamaica can barely track its own people, track its own criminal, or track people, in the country if they need to find someone. So how do we differentiate between legitimate asylum seekers and criminals looking for a new base of operation? How do we know who's coming here to actually escape and who's coming here to set up shop for Haiti's crime lords? Basically, that will be boosting our gun trade, fueling the violence that's already running rampant in our own communities. So this is why I believe we need to wake up and start holding our government accountable. If we really want to help, let's first fix our own country, basically set things in order, put different systems in place, and then we can look at helping other people. Because right now, what exactly would we be offering these people? What, more suffering, more struggles? So they're leaving the country to come experience the same thing? Let's stop trying to fix the neighbor's house when our own house is falling apart. All right, so let's get into this one. A rapper from Detroit who goes by the name Dank DeMoss is filing a civil lawsuit, and trust me, you're never gonna guess why. It's because her Lyft driver refused to take her because of her weight. Yeah, you heard that right. Now let's break this down. And y'all can basically tell me if I'm wrong. You know, I like to know if I'm wrong, guys. I'm not always going to believe that I'm right. I am open to hearing you guys tell me I am wrong. All right. But before we go any further, let me just put this out there. My mom's side of family, not slender. Not slender people. They're not born to be slim. Okay. So this is not about body shaming. This is about logic. All right. So you order a lift. The driver pulls up, takes one look and says, nah, can't carry. Let's take a look at the clip.
A Detroit rapper denied a lift from Lyft. She says it's due to her size. Jessica Dupnack from our Fox sister station explains.
Have you been in cars that size before?
Yes, I have. I've been in cars smarter than that, you know.
Deja Blanding tells us she was just trying to get to a Detroit Lions watch party this month when her Lyft rolled up.
As I'm walking, I see him like making faces or whatever. I'm like, oh man.
She already knew.
I can fit in this car.
But believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me.
He told her there's not enough room in his car.
The kicker part was when he started to talk about his tires. You know, I feel like that was a slap in the face. That was like my tires, you know, like.
The driver said his tires could not handle her weight.
So every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car?
Yeah, because they need to order the Uber XL experience.
No, I don't never have to order Uber XL.
He apologized, canceled the ride, and left her there. The rapper says she's pretty tough. Dank DeMoss, as she's known at the mic, is crushed by the whole situation.
I just want them to know, like, it really hurt my feelings.
It looks like a Lyft might be hurting pretty soon, too.
I knew it was illegal and I knew that it was wrong.
Her attorneys, John Marco and Zach Runyon, say weight is a protected characteristic in Michigan by law.
It would be no different than a driver pulling up and saying, you know, I don't want to have black people in my car, or I don't want to have Christians in my car, or Muslims in my car. It's the same. Under the law, it's the same.
The lawsuit is filed. Since she posted the encounter on social media, other full-figured folks have reached out saying the same thing happened to them.
Now, maybe the driver was wrong, but not for the reason that you guys think. Probably he shouldn't have said, you know, you can't fit in the car, because fitting, yeah, that's not the issue. What he should have said was, my car cannot safely carry this amount of weight without causing issues with the tires. And yes, he did mention that, but probably the way he said it, that's what got him in trouble. Now, I already know some of y'all are gonna come at me like, Jhanelle, that's discrimination, that's fat phobia, but let's be real here. Let's be real. For most people, being overweight is something that can be controlled for most people. And for those who genuinely cannot control it, I'm sorry, but you cannot expect strangers to accommodate you at their expense. That's ridiculous. I mean, this person, Dank, said, you know, in the video that her friend has a similar car like his and she can fit in it. So call your friend then. Why are you arguing with this man over his vehicle when he's an independent contractor of Lyft? He doesn't work for Lyft. He works with Lyft. That's his personal car. And the worst part is the lawyer comparing race to obesity. Obesity, which is a choice. Like, are you crazy, dude? Like, are you crazy? You must be crazy. Right? But let's just address the bigger issue here. Why are we out here normalizing something that isn't healthy? If you have dreams and goals and you're working toward them, why not add your health to that list? Why not? If you love yourself and you look in the mirror and see how beautiful you are, why not make a commitment to being the best version of yourself instead of causing people causing people the troubles of dealing with your situation? Now, if you're comfortable as you are and you have no interest in losing weight, that's your choice. That is your choice. But guess what? That also means it's your responsibility to find transportation that works for you, whether that's buying your own car or calling someone who is willing to accommodate you. Simple as that. Let's not pretend that this kind of thing doesn't affect other people, because nothing irritates me more than when I used to take a taxi or a bus and someone twice my size sit beside me and makes zero effort to be mindful of their space. Nothing makes me more upset. Basically just relaxing, fully pressing up against me, skin to skin contact, that is annoying, it's uncomfortable, and honestly, it's just inconsiderate. Period. You have a right to your body, but not at the expense of other people's comfort. And let's just keep it 100% real. The only reason why this lawsuit is even happening is because it's Michigan. And it's the only state with anti-weight discrimination laws. And personally, I hope she doesn't win. Not out of spite, but because we need to stop using excuses to force people to accommodate us and actually start taking accountability for our own lives. Simple as that. Simple. All right. That's a wrap for today's show. But listen, we're officially on Spotify now, so you can catch every episode on the go, anytime, anywhere. No excuses. And listen, remember that we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're watching and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, what are you even doing? What are you doing? Let's build this community together. Don't just watch, be a part of the movement. Don't just listen, be a part of the movement. And I will catch you guys in the next episode. See you then.